What if the people you thought were gone forever weren't gone at all? What if, in another world, they were alive, smiling, and standing right in front of you? In Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 3, Chris Smith stumbles into a dimension where everything he's ever wanted, love, family, respect, is his for the taking. But how long can a perfect world really last?
All I've ever wanted is to be a real hero.
You're one of us. We need you.
You ready for the next adventure, pal? I'm gonna pretend you found that.
Welcome back to Review. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're diving deep into Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 3, titled, Another Rick Up My Sleeve. This is an episode that delivers on every level. Heartfelt drama, shocking revelations, brutal action, and yes, the return of a character we never thought we'd see again in the DC universe. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell icon, and drop a like if you love exploring every layer of shows like this. Trust me, you won't want to miss the breakdowns coming up. Now, let's unravel this alternate dimension, where Chris finds himself face to face with ghosts of the past and temptations that could change his future forever. The episode wastes no time pulling us into the emotional deep end. It opens 3 years earlier with Agent Amelia Harcourt waking up in bed. Sunlight filters in as she stretches, and then we hear a voice. When she turns, the camera reveals none other than Rick Flag Jr. Yes, the same Rick Flag who Peacemaker killed in the Suicide Squad. The reveal is jarring. Rick should be dead. But this isn't a flashback. The sunlight outside hints at something different, because in Chris's present, it's snowing. What we're seeing is another dimension, one untouched by the tragedy of Corto Maltese. Here, Rick and Harcourt share a quiet intimacy. He even talks about leaving June Moon, the Enchantress, for her. It's bittersweet, because we know how it ended in the main timeline. Peacemaker's blade piercing Rick's heart. For Harcourt, Rick wasn't just a teammate. He was her confidant, her anchor. This scene reframes her guarded nature in the present timeline. She isn't cold for no reason. She's carrying grief. And when Peacemaker killed Rick, he didn't just kill a comrade. He killed the man she might have loved. This alternate reality gives Rick back to her. But at what cost? After the iconic dance number, we cut back to Chris waking up. Only this time, he's not alone. His brother Keith, who in his real world died years ago, is alive and well. For Chris, who has carried guilt over Keith's death his entire life, this is overwhelming. Keith teases him, checks if he's on pills, even makes him breakfast. It's the kind of brotherly love Chris has been starved of. But the shocks don't stop there. When Chris steps out into the city, helmet on, something incredible happens. People admire him. Strangers call his name. Kids cheer. Women smile. Men clap him on the back. In this universe, Peacemaker is a hero. It's a powerful contrast. In his real world, Chris is mocked, hunted, and scarred by guilt. Here, he's everything he ever wanted to be. Respected, loved, even adored. This sequence plays like a dream. But as the audience, we can't help but ask, is this dream too good to be true? Chris's main focus in this alternate world is Amelia Harcourt. In his real life, their relationship has been strained, fractured by mistrust, unspoken feelings, and the shadow of Rick Flag's death. But here, Amelia is softer, warmer. She even goes by her first name, something she rarely allows in the other timeline. When Chris finds her at Argus, they share a genuine hug. For a moment, it feels like healing. But then the bomb drops. Rick Flag Jr. is alive here, and dating Harcourt. Imagine the weight of that moment. Chris is face to face with the man he killed. And worse, he's watching the woman he longs for hold Rick's hand. Chris tells her he's trying to be better. He admits he pushes people away by being, in his own words, a dick. It's raw honesty. And in that moment, Harcourt seems willing to give him another chance. But the shadow of Rick is everywhere. In this dimension, Harcourt's happiness isn't born from survival. It's born from Rick being alive. For Chris, that truth is both a gift and a torment. Just as Chris and Harcourt seem to reconnect, reality crashes in. Literally. A bomb detonates near them, launched by a terrorist group known as the Sons of Liberty. Chaos erupts. The idyllic park scene turns into a war zone. Chris and Harcourt are thrown across the grass, and the Sons storm a DMV building, taking hostages. Here's where the episode shifts gears into full-throttle action. Chris doesn't hesitate. Without his helmet, without his costume, he charges into the building. What follows is classic Peacemaker, violent, messy, darkly funny. He takes down terrorists with whatever's at hand. Knives, wrenches, a copier machine, even his fists. The choreography is raw, gritty, and powered by John Cena's physicality. At one point, Chris disarms a bomb seconds before it can level the building. Then, just when it seems he might be overwhelmed, Keith swoops in Iron Man style, blasting the Sun's helicopter from the sky. This isn't just action for spectacle. It's action with emotional weight. Harcourt watches Chris fight. Not as a joke, not as a screw-up, but as a hero. For once, she sees the man beneath the mask. While Chris is living his dream life in another dimension, the real world is catching up to him. Back in the present timeline, the Argus team is fractured. They're hungover, bickering, and sidelined. Adebayo questions Harcourt about her feelings for Chris, while Adrian Chase rambles about spiders. These moments are lighthearted, but they don't drive the story. Instead, they highlight how isolated Chris has become. Meanwhile, Argus leadership isn't laughing. Sasha Bordeaux suspects Chris of manipulating the situation. Fleury dismisses Eagly as a metaduck, fueling tensions. And poor Economos finds himself caught between loyalty to his friend and duty to Argus. The tension spikes when Sasha assigns Economos a new partner, Judo Master. Yes, he's back, and he's not exactly thrilled to babysit. But the real game changer? Sasha hires Red St. Wild, a brutal eagle hunter played by James Gunn regular Michael Rooker. His mission? Take down Eagly. By the end of the episode, Argus surrounds Chris's home. They want him alive if possible, but dead if necessary. As Chris steps back into his own reality, he has no idea that the fight of his life is waiting just outside his door. Episode 3 also delivers a revelation that reframes everything between Harcourt and Chris. Through flashbacks, we learn that 3 years before the Suicide Squad, Harcourt was romantically involved with Rick Flag Jr. This explains her distance, her refusal to let Chris in, her cold exterior. She lost Rick because of Peacemaker. It's not that she doesn't care about Chris. It's that every glance at him reminds her of the man she lost. This revelation makes the alternate dimension storyline even more bittersweet. In that world, Rick is alive, Harcourt is happy, and Chris is a respected hero. But in the real world, Rick is dead, Harcourt is grieving, and Chris is the man who caused it. For Harcourt, love feels impossible. For Chris, redemption feels just out of reach. Episode 3 of Peacemaker Season 2 is a masterclass in balancing heart, humor, and chaos. It gives Chris Smith a taste of everything he's ever wanted. His brother's love, Harcourt's affection, Rick Flag's forgiveness, even the admiration of the public. But we know it can't last. Perfect worlds have cracks, and sooner or later, Chris will have to face the truth.